We're going to talk about strategies to reduce anxiety. I'll start by talking about some quick ways to bring our escalated state down to a place of calm and equilibrium. There are many techniques that can do this. Any technique that integrates the mind and the body helps us to do this. I'm going to teach you a few of these. Please follow along and choose one or two that seem a little bit more interesting to you, and then practice them so that at the time that when you are feeling escalated, they're in your back pocket and they're easy to pull out and put to use. Whichever ones that we decide to use, you want to practice them for at least 5 minutes at a time, because it's going to take the mind and the body that long to start to integrate and do their good work. So we're going to start with breathing exercises. Focusing on our breathing can be really effective at bringing us to a more calm state. By slowing down our breathing, we can actually slow down our heart rate. So one easy technique is to count backwards from 5. So 5 and 4, we breathe in, we hold it. 3, 2, 1, we breathe out. So practice with me. 5, 4, in, hold. 3, 2, 1, out. Again. 5, 4, in, hold. 3, 2, 1, out. One more time, just to get the idea of it. 5, 4, in, hold. 3, 2, 1, out. So another one is bilateral movement. And really all bilateral movement is starting first with the left side, for example, and then the right side, back and forth. This forces the brain to move from left hemisphere, which is more about the thinking, to the right hemisphere, which is more about the feeling, and integrating the two back and forth. Of course, I'm very much oversimplifying this, but it can be a very effective technique. We can do that in a couple of ways. One way is to put both feet firmly on the ground and first press firmly with your heel on your left foot, hold it, and then release. Press firmly with the heel on your right foot, hold it, and release. Left foot, heel down, hold it, release. Right foot, heel down, hold it, and release. Another bilateral technique that we can use would be to put the left hand on the right shoulder, the right hand on the left shoulder, and we're just going to gently and rhythmically tap one shoulder and then the other. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. If you practice this with me, you'll start to notice your body start to enter a calmer state. Give that a try for a while. Now, another technique, of course, is mindfulness. And there's all kinds of ways to practice mindfulness. One way that we can do this is to really pay attention to your surroundings. So look around you and see what you see. Notice the colors, notice the shapes in the room, notice any lights. Take time to really list and name a few of the things that you see in your environment. Next, take time to notice what you feel. What do you feel? I'm feeling the couch beneath my hands. I'm feeling the firmness of the seat below me, beneath me and below me. I feel the ground beneath my feet. Notice what you feel. Notice the temperature. And then we can move to what we hear. What do you hear in your environment? Maybe there's a distant sound of a motor. Maybe you hear a furnace. Maybe you hear the hum of your computer or someone else that's in the building with you. Notice what you hear. Next, we're going to move to smell. Are you smelling anything in your environment? And then the next, we're going to move to taste. Maybe you just had a coffee. Maybe you just had a piece of gum. Maybe you've just popped a candy in your mouth. Taste it on your tongue. What does that candy taste like? What does it feel like? What are the different flavors that emerge for you? That's just one example of mindfulness. Another technique, and this is one of my personal favorites, it's called EFT, or Emotional Freedom Technique. And it's using the meridian points in the body to slow down that fight and flight reflex that we have. So basically, this is what it looks like. We start with our hand and we do some gentle tapping. We go between the eyebrows and do some gentle tapping. We go beside the eyes, and then under the eyes, and then under the nose, and then on the chin, and finally on the chest. I don't want to mess with my microphone. And we want to do that several times, and we let ourselves really focus on the feelings of anxiety in our bodies, and notice as they go higher, and then they start to calm down and eventually disappear. There's lots and lots of information on the internet about EFT. So I've also attached an audio on progressive relaxation. It's another example of a really good way to pull yourself out from racing thoughts and into a different present state. And finally, exercise and stretching are really, really important. If you get your heart rate up for even 5 minutes, you can have a very calming effect on your body. So those are some of the short-term strategies. And now I want to move to some long-term strategies of reducing anxiety. So Jesus says it this way: I am the vine and you are the branches. If you remain in me and me in you, you will bear much fruit. But apart from me, you can do nothing. From John 15, verse 5. He is our unending source of peace to quell anxiety and give us the power to live our best lives. Put your relationship with God first, always. When I am living in my own strength, stressing about this presentation on anxiety that Scott has asked me to do, worrying about every little speed bump and detour that comes up on my radar, I am quickly depleted and overwhelmed, and that can lead to feelings of resentment and irritability. I stew in my own cortisol, and the to-do list looms out of control. I'm glad to say I'm getting better at recognizing this. Yet it remains a minute-to-minute choice to plug back into my source of power. Compare it to exercise. Maybe you've worked hard and successfully reached a fitness goal. You get to rest with that achievement for a few days, but sooner rather than later, you'd best get back to your routine if you want to stay in shape. Have you ever felt like you were in God's flow, like you were exactly where God wanted you to be, even if only for that moment? Maybe when worshiping or watching a glorious sunrise, or when your dog greets you when you come through the door. Maybe when you're working on a project and it all finally comes together. This feeling of connection to God is what we are all aiming for, right? And guess what? God absolutely wants that for us too. That's the best version of ourselves right there. So in this broken world that we live in, how do we accomplish that? I don't know just what that looks like for you, because you are unique and you have your own passions and interests and skills. But what I can share is some of what I've learned that helps me, and what I've heard helps others stay under God's wing, where we all find that comfort and contentment that we long for. We'll start with the big picture. What principles do you want to live your life by? What does the Bible say God wants us to prioritize in life? Our thoughts and feelings are important, but we do better to build decisions and lives around principles that are less fluctuating. Books like John Ortberg's The Me I Want to Be, The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren, and my personal favorite, Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, have been very helpful to many in this process. I am a slow learner, and so seek out books, sermons, and podcasts, anything I can get my hands on the topic of priorities to keep me going in that direction. Listen to your body. When anxiety rears its head, accept it. Oh, there it is. I know this feeling. My body is trying to tell me something. I need to pay attention. Decide what you want to do with that. Is there something in my environment or my reaction to it that needs to be looked at? Push back. Anxiety does not often know best, unless there really is a bear. You are the boss, not anxiety. So don't let anxiety have you avoid living. Get moving. Study after study identifies regular exercise as more effective than either therapy or medication for anxiety. Walk, ski, run the stairs. Let your body move. Pay attention to how you feel. Emotions are the river of life. They provide us with lots of information about how to best take care of ourselves. Resist the rush to numb the feelings of anxiety. Anxiety is a very uncomfortable place to be. Some distraction and self-indulgence are okay, but notice if you're reaching for an immediate fix to numb the anxiety. Too much of anything can become a problem. So seek help if you're concerned about any possible abuses of any substances or activities. Don't believe everything you think. This one's really important. We can overinflate the value of our thinking. You know that thought that goes round and round, or that memory that keeps popping up and reminds you again just how you are a loser? It is more likely to be a lie than a fact, and it is unlikely to be of any value to you. Notice recurring thoughts and write them down. You are sure to see cognitive distortions that do not serve you. Is this thought helpful, fair, useful? Is it a judgment like, I'm so stupid? Who do I think I am? I'm a lazy slob and a basket case. Would I say this to any other living being? If the answer is no to any of these questions, get rid of that thought. Literally say stop. Replace it with a mantra that is more life-giving. This practice is very hard at first. Remember, you are creating new pathways in your brain, and that takes a whole lot of repetition. Take time to mourn. You have lots of reasons to be sad, especially right now. Listen to sad music, watch a sad movie, write a sad letter, cry. Take time to worry. Schedule time in the week for worry time, where you can brainstorm all the what-ifs and come up with action plans and contingency plans. This is constructive anxiety when it leads us to become more informed and more prepared for possible risk. Take time to enjoy. Take daily doses of activities, nature, connection with others, creating and enjoying God's creation, which includes the incredible and diverse talents of other human beings. Seek what fuels you. Maybe it's knitting or woodworking. Maybe it's learning more about the universe. Maybe it's about motors or rock climbing. Nurture your passions. Make time for solitude to pray, meditate, read, and journal. I know there are seasons in life when this is hard to do, and you might get just minutes a day to yourself. So be intentional about them. Savor your shower and your morning coffee. 1,000 Gifts by Ann Boskamp is a book that helped me develop the habit of gratitude for life's simple pleasures. Find ways to nurture your soul. Be kind to yourself. God has all kinds of grace for us. Have some for yourself. Life is hard. It is full of pain and hardship. The uncertainty and loss caused by the pandemic are real. And finally, remember that you are not alone. You have brothers and sisters that share your struggle. Take a risk to be known, and that gives others permission to be honest with their struggles too.